Uh, 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 here we go, here we go, here we go. Welcome to the show, Monica, Mo, justice in the mix. Bringing truth with no tricks. Mama Mo, here we go. Welcome to the show, Monica, Mo, justice in the mix. Bringing truth with no tricks. Saturdays our day to shine. Focus on books and storylines. Courtroom drama commentary. Keeping it real, never scary. More justice, dropping wisdom. Weekend vibes, you can't miss them. Open your mind, let the truth be told. From the cases big to the bold. Deep dive into legal scenes. Breaking down what justice means. Analyzing every clue we find. No stone left unturned, no mind left blind. Gather round, it's time to see justice served thoughtfully. Books and cases, join the ride. Monica, more justice by your side. Oh, justice dropping wisdom. Weekend vibes, you can't miss them. Open your mind, let the truth be told. From the cases big to the bold.
All right. Good morning and welcome to Mo Knows featuring me, Mo, Monica, Mo Justice. All right. You don't know how slick it is today to be having everything working. Everything that I set up thus far. Still more to come, still more rollouts. Oh, there was something else I wanted to do. Hold up, let me see if I could do it because it's with the emojis. Now you know this is gonna mess up my whole day. Something wrong with me. Um, I gotta do one more. Ugh, I probably don't have this ready yet. Where's the emoji thing? All right, I need to copy this. So I copied it. Let me see what the rules are. It doesn't even matter. I copy. But did I turn it on? Let me see something. Let me see if it works. I don't think it works. I didn't figure this one out yet. But I got an emoji thing coming up. Hold up. Can I do it? Let me see. Let's just see this one. I guess not. I don't know how it works. I guess that's what that means. I don't know how it works. How does it work? Do I have to still click on? Hold on. Let me see if I have to click on it. Boo. I don't know. All right. I don't got time to mess with that. Yesterday was busy. Yesterday was extremely busy. It was extremely busy day over there in that YSL case. All right. Let me see where I'm going to begin. I only have about 15 minutes. Let me take a sip. All right, let me get to my notes. I had the pleasure yesterday of to this, listening to the court cases on my own around 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the end of the day because I was extremely busy with a CLE at work yesterday. So I can only catch up at the end of the day. So here's what I watched. I watched a courtroom stream directly from a judge Um, let me go back to my YouTube to figure out what I actually watched yesterday. Hold on a second. Let me bring this over here. Let me look at my YouTube to see what I watched. But it was out of a judge's courtroom. So the first case I'm gonna let me start backwards. Let me start with Stillwell because I saw him in the middle. He miraculously now has become Mr. Jackson. Sorry, Mr. Jackson. Ooh, it's for real. All right, so it sounds like he's out. He had some other cases. It sounded like, if I'm recalling correctly, they sounded like they were cases that, well, one had to do with, wait a minute, they wasn't injury by vehicle. So something had to do with the vehicle. And that was giving him some more participation in the street gang activity. And then some other things that occurred while he was incarcerated. Now, mind you, these are incarcerations because people were held with no bond, so they were in confinement and got in more trouble, and the DA leveraged those cases against them afterwards. All right, so what's up, JT? Oh, did it automatically put you up there? Let me find out. I think it did. Anyway, so with that being said, he was offered plea deals. The judge accepted the plea deal. I found the interaction between his attorney and let me just. I won't play anybody's videos, but I do want y'all. Okay, where is what Mo watched? History. All right, great. I was looking at some pen videos this morning. I was trying to get myself a pen for the new year. Y'all, I want to show y'all something. Oh yeah, it does let you come up there. It does put you up there itself. So I don't even have to do nothing. Oh, isn't that so sweet? Okay, so do 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 do. I listened to SETI this morning. Let me go to what I watched yesterday. So, Law and Crime Trials. That's muted. Let me just make sure all my other streams are muted. All right, let's take a peek at what I. Indictment 22 SC 18. No, it doesn't matter. I need to mute this. All right, and then which one do I want to open? I think it's being footage. Hold on a second. I am just trying to get to the stuff. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that's why that didn't work. All right, which one? It's not that one. It must be. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Hold on a minute. I got to find out which one of these. That's a PowerPoint. You know, I ain't got time for this. Hold up. We'll just make a new one. So we're going to add a browser.
Indictment 22 SC 181814, Shannon Jackson.
Ah,
He's
damn
also position
it.
number 2, Indictment 22 SC 18.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't. It was with no sound. I was trying not to play it. I didn't want to play. It's the weirdest thing. But I didn't know where it was coming from, so I ain't got no time. I ain't got no time for it. But as you can see, that's the Shannon video. That's the Shannon situation while he was in court yesterday. The bottom line is he was released. He had a negotiated plea. I saw the relationship between the attorney and the relationship between the attorneys, and the attorneys in is Shard and the DA. I thought that was a good relationship. Um, Later in the conversations, you would hear the district attorney specifically state that he's not going anywhere, so he'll be around. Basically, if there's a violation, or more importantly, if there needs to be a modification to that being banished from Atlanta. Now, this is what I don't understand with folks. It shouldn't have to take somebody to write an order to banish you from some place. At some point in time, for self-preservation purposes, you would want to walk away from certain circumstances. But it's very hard when you've got your family only lives in a certain area. And you've got to walk away completely from everything that you know and everything that you've been. um I didn't really care too much for the judge's soliloquy. I felt it was a lot too late when she was a judge in the juvenile system. 80% didn't have a high school diploma, when you was a judge in the juvenile system, what did you do to benefit? I just was turned, it was just me. I was just turned off by her whole juvenile judge system. Now you're talking to the adults that have transitioned from being juveniles who you couldn't reach then. And that's it. Her uh that this is just my opinion. Maybe I don't like to hear people who are part of the problem and not part of the solution just picking at things. Remember, this is how these people get paid. But that's my take on it. I was annoyed by her, but I have seen in my experience, right, my limited experience, when judges are left dumbfounded by decisions before them, when things are taken out of their control. So this was her trying to have a little bit of control, when I believe this is the same judge that didn't want to have no parts in the YSL trial. In any event, I don't know what to think of his plea, because I feel like he's the defendant that had a lot of people coming for him. So hopefully he'll be able to leave with his new bride. Yeah, it was just some of the things that she said, but hopefully he'll be able to leave town, go start a new family, make babies with the chicken head attorney, and keep it moving. Um, I'm not a Kayla fan, and yesterday definitely did not make me a Kayla fan. Even it made me less than what I was before, because now I got to see her lawyering. And good morning, San Francis. Now I got to see her lawyering, and I was not impressed. Okay, I was not impressed. And if I have more time, I will come back to you later this evening with examples of what I was not impressed with, because the way she represented Yak, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. But again, I'm going to remind people that there is a case out in Florida where the mother, I'm not going to go into the details of it. The bottom line is, when your attorney has a conflict, when your attorney has represented members of your family, etc., it may not be the best attorney for you. She was completely winded. I tried. Carenza, I really tried. I really tried. I tried to give the benefit of the doubt. I just don't understand why other people can't see it. But I tried. I really tried. I'm gonna have to work on this, because I don't like this stuff being squishy right here. Hold up. Yes, Nugget. Did you go outside, Nugget? I have to fix the chat situation. But yeah, I just uh it's not that. It's the style too. Forget the relationships around here in this cesspool of a case, right? But Yak's situation, when she spoke yesterday as the attorney, if you and I want to point out the examples. If you look at the attorneys that went before her, right, arguing for the same thing, this is one type of trial, right, court. He's only hearing bond cases. So defense attorney after defense attorney is going to come up there to prove four prongs of getting a bond, right? The first one is that the person is not a risk to the community, right? That the person is going to be law abiding while they're out there. There's no reason to hold them. Number two, that the person, has connections to the community. It's not going to intimidate people, right? It's lawyer after lawyer comes up with the same spiel, right? But it's addressing each concern that the judge would have in releasing your client, right? Why your client should be released, right? I found the judge to be extremely patient, extremely professional, and extremely willing to listen to bull crap. When she gets up there, she doesn't specifically address good morning, Yvette. She doesn't specifically address those prongs. And then when she's given questions, she doesn't have the answer to it. Where is he going to stay? You know that you need to provide to the court your plan. Your Honor, I don't want to discuss. He said you don't have to particularize it, but you need to be able to verbalize what you're gonna do. He's going to stay. Now, if he was gonna stay with his mother, you're gonna say he's gonna stay with a relative, but due to the thing, we can talk about that offline, right? Instead, she said he's gonna stay in an apartment. Now, the judge didn't heard that he was staying with some friends and got himself arrested the last time because he was staying in the web. It wasn't the web at the time, but he was staying in town with friends. You're not making a case before the judge that says that your client has matured from the situation that he found himself in the first place. You're just adding to it. Y'all acting like this business as usual. We just gonna hit the street and do what we did before. The only person that has the liberty to live in like they was living before is that attorney. She ain't had herself locked up for 2 years. It's like his mother, this and that. The judge was very, if you listen to the judge as he listen to the judge as he was as he was taking in inventory in the morning. He said, "Is there anybody in the courtroom not here for Kendrick?" So we knew he had a whole courtroom with people filled for Kendrick. He's like, "Is there anybody here not for Kendrick?" It's just stupid. It's just stupidity. There's a reason why, and this is why I disliked what's the guy's name? The one that represented Yak. Weinstein. Doug, where are you? I understand he picked up these matters while in custody, because all of these are while in custody, but to just hand over your client in the way in which you did, see the difference between Shard? You see the difference between Matthews when you have a vested interest in your client? I won't say that much for, I'll even say it for Steele and Adams as it relates to Thug, but Thug is the paying entity there. So I really can't, I can't establish if it's a true bond or if it's a financial bond. But in this context, I'm going to say that everybody took the interest of their client all the way down to the bone. But as I listened to the charges levied against Yak, they made him out to be the aggressor in the situation. But then when you listen to in furtherance of the argument, when the prosecutor said that he was recorded on cam. This is the disconnect between what you hear and what you want to hear. He said he went in that other guy's cell to get his stuff back. It's a level of respect, and I agree with him to some degree. But I do believe that that incident was involving people taking the stuff that belonged to the little dude, and folks were getting the little dude's stuff back. But don't quote me on that. I'm gonna look and see what you said in 1 minute, but then that chat popped up again, and then it just made me mad. Hold up, I gotta find which chat I'm using now. Is this one? Yes, hold up. Oh, I don't like the way that looks. Let me do it like this. I think I'm gonna do it like this. That might make the difference. Yeah, I think that might make the difference right there. No, it's not provocation to go, you're incarcerated. It really is not provocation. I mean, it's his defense, right? Because it's his defense as to what happened. But at the end of the day, I mean, but the way it was being sold, and this is where a good attorney comes in, there was no response that was credible at that moment. Kayla gave no response that was credible about the situation. To me, she's just posturing, but that's just me. I'm just a little bit disturbed because each day that Yak Gotti remains incarcerated, unfortunately, is a potential day where he has to defend himself. On the incident where he got stabbed in the head, they're even making him out to be the aggressor, and the judge was just trying to pinpoint, can we get all of the incidents that happened inside the jail while we were retaining him lawfully but unlawfully, right? Because we retained them because we felt, can I get all the cases that y'all gonna do with him before us, so that we know what we're working with, we have the landscape of what the issues are before us, and we could resolve, we could come to some kind of resolve. And then the final thing was that there's a hold. So I want to explain something about holds, because I think people cannot appreciate the process, okay? If you are on probation, all right, now folks are making videos saying that this was some fraudulent hold, all right? They're saying that there was no real hold. But good morning, Brooklyn. There was a fraudulent hold. I don't think that is the case, right? But you would need to look at his probation sheet, that whole form. So the other good YouTubers that cover this, if people could ask them to pull his rap sheet, whatever it is, those probation records that we see where it tells you how much time a person is serving. You need to be emboldened with that when you're standing before this court, right? Or any court, right? You should have your client's record before you, right? And she was arguing, Kayla's position was that he was charged in the state level for a crime that was transferred to the federal level, and he served time on the federal level for it, and then he was released with a probation from the federal side. Now, everybody I know of that talks about the feds, so this is just me telling you about people I know of, right? Things I heard of, right? I never heard of people being on parole or whatever after they came from the feds. I remember them also saying that Odyssey is not always up to date and current in the past. What I'm talking about is they got probation officers there. They pull up his previous agreement when he was released from jail, right? And if there was some time associated with him being released that was subject to state probation and whatever was going on with the feds, it sounded like he had some commitment that was to the state that he did not adhere to in the first instance, just being released and out and about, that he needed to resolve. That's what it sounded like. That's what I thought I heard, and that's my understanding. Let me see if I could pull that up quickly to what they actually said. T, how we looking on time? She gonna tell me she was already ready before I got on the computer. Look at this face. Hold up, let me just look. I understand they were saying he had state probation, then got the Fed time. That's how I understood it. That he had state probation, got the Fed time. So what happened to the state probation? Does it pause because you on the Fed time? Does it reinstate? Does it expire? Because like, for me, if I had state time, which I never had, right? But in a scenario, if a person had state time and then they got locked up and went to the feds, their state time is still running until the end date. That's how I think it would do. Then got the Fed time and stopped reporting to the state. If this is true, then the warrant should be state. Correct. I agree. It should be a state warrant. Correct. And it sounded like that's how I understood it. But, I was just sitting in my own little circle listening to stuff. I might have heard something wrong. But you know what? I'll come back tonight and we'll deal with Yak Gotti because I got two other things I want to talk about. And that we can explore it. And maybe later on today, other people will make it make sense. The 5 defendants that were in take 2 of the YSL trial. Did you see Shady McShady, the attorney, the judge, talking about this will be a new set of jurors? Okay. She said this is a new judge, right, who's going to handle this correctly from the start is basically what she said, right? Deciphering her shade, right? Yada, yada, yada. And it's very rare that you would get a not guilty from jurors. So you can't bank on that. I'm like, and then she said the ultimate. She said, because the case might represent that information differently this time around. Well, hold up. Let me roll up. If you have a theory state and you went to trial with the first set of people on this theory, how does this theory now get to change? It's the same. The only way your theory gets to change is if the information changed. So let's see. I was shocked. So these are my thoughts. You share yours with me in the comments below or right now if you're here on the stream. The guy with the bachelor's degree, Farley, whose only crime was establishing a clothing line that was a knockoff out of Make America Great Again, right? Trump's. He made Make America Slime Again, putting the LLC to it, engagement, signing some contracts or some deals with some record labels, right, to generate and put his product on bodies that's related to their industry. Everything on the up and lawful. To settle for to take the plea deal, I thought was, I'm not gonna say wasn't in his best interest, because it was an whatever that plea is, right? An Alford plea, which means that they have enough evidence that could find him guilty of that, whatever they are alleging. So he's not saying he did it or didn't do it. He's just acknowledging that they could, and he's going his own way. I did feel very sad for him. I also felt sad because he already had 2 years of this, because he was on the ankle bracelet and he was out and about. So there's no credit to be awarded to him because he wasn't behind the wall. So that means in essence he had to give 7 years of his life to his brand, to something that he was branding. So that was just crazy to me. That was I was not in agreement with that. That's all I'm gonna say. I also did see an interview with his attorney. His attorney was I think good friends with the boy's father. Let me get the person. So I just was sad. That had me so sad when I saw it. So I'm not even gonna hold you. Farley's dad is a barber and owns a barber shop. And I think this guy, the attorney, was either a client or something. So he represented Farley in this case, because of his relationship with his father, with knowing his father. So I really think that by his weak effort of putting forth a dismissal, asking to dismiss the case on the grounds that he put in for a speedy trial, and the speedy trial was not his speedy trial request. I was more than a little perturbed with that filing, with that motion. And then I remembered at that moment we was about to enter the wrong right situation with this attorney. He was not in a financial stance to fight. That's what all of this leads that to me. It screams that to me. I would have preferred people putting up money in a whatever fund me account for this dude who apparently doesn't have it for a full acquittal, and then opposed to the United Healthcare vigilante. Okay, but one thing for certain is that Farley, by association, going forward with the trial with these defendants, somebody who shot a police officer, and all the other accusations that are going to come from stone cold murderers, right? It wasn't in his best interest to move forward. So I'm keep using the language best interest to justify all the things that are out there that are on the negative, and opposed to all the things that are in the positive. So I have to agree to that it wasn't in his best interest. I think I believe in answer to your question, Brooklyn, Shannon was guilty, took a plea yesterday. Why shouldn't Yak take a plea? Yak case is going back in front of Judge Whitaker. We already know that. One of these cases is before her that's in Yak's lineup. Here's the problem, right? You want to be, whenever you are in these situations, you want to be found guilty and provided the time for the crime that you did do. And you don't want to be punished for the crimes that you were acquitted for. So what happens in situations like this, right, is that a defendant can find themselves not guilty of something that would have gave you life in jail, right? And he's a recidivism already, right? So he's going to get a lengthy jail sentence if found guilty of anything. You want it to just be of the issue at hand and not backhandedly getting time for things that you were found not guilty of but still get punished for. So I believe that the best route for him, I agree, is to take it to trial, right? That's his whole thing. Take it to trial and let something land there. They would have to prove their case. What they're going to do, they're going to bring in, since it happened in a correctional facility, you're going to tell me that in this day and age with what's going on with Rice Street, you're going to put your people up there like you did with the guy in the case of Lucci, and you're going to have him testify and sit before people and say, well, Lucci, they're in protective custody and only one inmate is allowed to be on the floor at a time. And then we see a video and we see the inmates that were fighting, or the one that had to defend himself that got attacked, right? And then we see two other inmates just loosely walking around on the floor that you said nobody's supposed to be out. We see your guards not responding, like you're showing your negligence, but you get on the stand and you want to testify, and you saying that to decent people who are serving as jurors, and they're gonna look at that and be like, yeah, this is a bunch of malarkey. And that's why you get your not guilties, right? So, because more than likely, whoever was fighting against him is not going to come and be a victim in the case. We ain't seen that yet. No one's to say that won't happen, but it could happen. All right, so that takes care of that. So there's more to come on the YSL Take Two. I guess our first day will be at 10 a.m. for Georgia v. Eppinger, where he's going to have his immunity hearing for the situation that occurred with the police officer. I think no matter what, it's going to go forward based on how, I'm going to call her Paige at this moment, how Paige was responding to the fact that he was still seeking this immunity hearing. And they're going to start the jury selection at that time, bringing in jurors, doing voir dire, making up their questions, having people fill out tablets or whatever that's about. All right. Last but not least, I want to talk about this thing called juror nullification, because you're hearing a lot of talk about it in the news as it relates to the United Healthcare vigilante. Would a jury do that? And a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I would have said, no, jury nullification never really happens. It's something that is put out there. But when you're dealing with jurors who cannot connect to the victim, whoever the defendant is, depends on who the jurors connect to. In New York, the Penny case was a case where T, could you give him his treat? Because now he's looking at me. the bottom line in the Penny case, which was the Marine who was on the ex-Marine who was on the train, and one of those street performers was on the train. When he was on the train, he was intimidating to the people on the train, and he restrained him. And he restrained him for a significant period of time, which resulted in the street performer's death. Okay, they took it to trial as a manslaughter charge. The jurors could not convict and did not convict him. The question that was at bay for the jurors to determine: was it reasonable to hold the man for that period of time that it resulted in his death? And they didn't want to hold him accountable for that. I don't know what jurors are going to sit on a jury and in New York that are going to allow somebody, when all the evidence is before you, rich or not, to walk free when in the middle of one of the busiest streets, one of the jurors, the busiest streets where tourists are at, where people go to congregate during the holidays, and especially at this time of the season. No one's gonna just allow people to just come down and be shooting at, just taking out people on the city streets. So if there was jury nullification in that case because people are so anti healthcare, I can't see it with a New York jurors. But having now seen the Penny case, I would be very open to watch what's going on. I would never say never, but the likelihood of that is still a no for me. But it's something that I wouldn't erase from my mind, because of just, I just want to know who are these people that are out here, and who are the people in our neighborhoods, right? Because it's just too much right now. I understand that people are dissatisfied with the way things happen. But if you're dissatisfied in the outcomes, you've got to be part of the process that puts the things in place. You've got to rewrite the laws that you are not happy with. Yesterday I just did a CLE, and we were covering a topic called star decisis. And if you were listening to any of the nominees for the Supreme Court, they kept saying, well, we're not going to discuss stare decisis. In the year to come, right, in this new administration that's before us, right, because the people have spoken and the people have voted, the level of government that's in place to regulate things is going to be under attack, and will reap the consequences of it, right? This is how, that's what I was saying to folks last night. Don't cry here, call your legislators. Yeah, at the end of the day, no, it's beyond call your legislators, right? It's look at the legislation itself and see if the legislation meets your needs. And if it doesn't meet your needs, then you need to sit down and figure out what change needs to be implemented and then contact your legislators, right? Because calling your legislators to just say, I don't agree with what's going on, you need to give them specifics as to what you want changed. A lot of people contact people just to complain, but they don't have any valid solutions for it. So you're wasting that person's time. And that's the problem that we have out here. People are complaining about everything. They don't like nothing, right? But nobody wants to take the time to express in a to completely express what it is they don't like and what they would like to see in its place and what they would support in its place. People don't understand that. But as things start, and I don't care who likes who as whatever, right? Somebody let COVID in, right? Now, I remember clearly having leadership say, keep a certain group of people out because something funky's going on over there. Then other people saying, no. Let them, that's discrimination. This is because people let their ideologies go before rational thinking, right? People didn't question why some things were happening. In other places, some folks, because they deregulated or never had enough coverage in the areas that we needed coverage, couldn't handle COVID as it hit, right? And then we just had to deal with the aftermath of it because it was already here. That rap lyric, listen, Becky, where's your man Doug representing his client Woody? His client Yak today. This is people only are interested in things I'll just leave it like that. I don't like none of this stuff that I'm seeing out here, like voting on a rap lyric bill. The rap lyric bill is the least of our concerns at this moment. Have a good day. This is I'm so sorry, I can't with this. I can't. Every time this woman comes in here, she just messes it all up.
Books and cases, join the ride. Wanna come on justice by your side.
Have a beautiful Wednesday.
Weekend vibes, you can't miss them. Open your mind, let the truth